Hello, hello, and happy Friday. We have at the end of another week, and this weekend, I'm going to talk about what you can do this weekend to really help to raise your vibration, to focus on what it is you're manifesting, on looking at how you can improve your manifestations with this amazing new moon, full moon on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 14th, we've got the full moon in Sagittarius, which means the moon is in Sagittarius and the sun is in Gemini. As always, they're opposite each other in a full moon. So I'm going to tell you a few things about what's happening in the stars and astrology. There's also a really good treble five code of, and that is because the 14th, it's on the 14th, so the 14, 4 and 1, 1 and 4 adds up to 5. So that's a 5 number. Plus the sun is at 23 degrees in Gemini and the moon is at 23 degrees in Sagittarius. 2 and 3 add up to 5. So that's a treble 5 code. But not only that, 23 in numerology is probably the most powerful number. It's called the royal star of the lion, and it brings a huge amount of, it's like your inner warrior. It's like that, the sacred masculine, divine feminine, all sort of mixed together. It's how we can really up our game, level up, do those things that we want to do. So I've got some notes here as always, because I don't do anything without notes. I will forget what I need to say. Right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about expansion. Sagittarius is ruled by Gemini. So it's Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So it's all about expansion and joy and wisdom, and it's like that big faith, the big kind of everything can be amplified. It's like similar energy to Jupiter, which expands everything. And I spoke to you in the last was it Tuesday when I made my last live. I spoke to you about what was happening with Jupiter and Mars, forming that, there was they were conjunct in Aries at the start of Aries. So there was a huge amount of this powerful expansion energy with Mars and Jupiter moving towards this, full moon. So every moon, at the new moon, we set our intentions and we're moving towards the full moon, where we really need, more than anything now over the next 4 days, is to really keep our goals, our big desires, our big intentions in the foremost of our mind, and focus on it. But focusing on it, paying attention to the end result. How are you going to feel when this happens? Talk about it. Expand your thinking about it, because the Sagittarius new moon, and the moon is also a super moon, which means that the sun is closer to the earth, and it's very close in its relativity on how close it gets right now. So it is a super moon, which means that everything is sort of expanded as well by that. So at the full moon, when we reach our conclusion, when it sort of brings about, I suppose it brings things to fruition. If you pay attention and focus on your dreams and really take the intention. So you set your intentions. Those are the things that you do, that you decide to do. Take those action steps. If you do that, and if you pay attention to the end result, pay attention to your big dreams, what it is you want to manifest, pay attention to how you're turning up, and pay attention to, asking yourself, are you that person? Are you, when you think of your dreams or what you're moving towards, what would you see yourself in the future? And can you be that future person now? So with all that trust and all of that, confidence that you have achieved something that you want to achieve. when you that and pay attention to that as you're moving towards the full moon. That moon really sort of draws things, draws it up. And the full moon is on Tuesday, the 14th, Irish UK time. It's going to be 12:51, so adjust that to wherever you are in the world. I am going to do the Monday live as a guided meditation for the full moon. And every full moon can bring up tension, can bring up sort of, there's an opposition because the sun is opposite the moon, but it can bring up a lot of emotional tension and angst. So what we do in the full moon, it's about letting go of some of that and moving into it, letting go of any of the negative anxiety or tension or pushing or stressiness, but also using that pull to amplify it. So I'm going to do that on Monday, because the best time to do a releasing ceremony for the full moon is before the full moon. And you can listen to it again on the full moon. I'm going to do it on Monday myself, and I'm going to listen to it again before I start working on Tuesday, just so that I'm really in that feeling for it. Now, the full moon phase lasts for 3.5 days, so you have that fullness for 3.5 days, but the main event is on the 14th, at 12:51, and that is PM, so it's just after, it's coming up to lunchtime, Irish UK time. So that Royal Star of the Lion that's really strong number. Fives, the number in numerology that they all add up to five. So five, last year was a five universal year. It's about things happening at lightning speed. We need to be adjustable. We need, to adjust to things that might be happening outside of us and notice what you can control. You can't control events that are happening out there, but you can control the way you feel about them. So it's about balancing your emotions. It's being flexible. And I always think of the analogy of, there's a big sort of an oak tree, or here actually we had a willow a couple of years ago, and that willow tree, while it might look flexible, it really isn't that flexible. A sturdy stump and not a great root. And, in a storm, they're going to tumble over because they cannot hold that sort of strength up. So don't be rigid, but be more like, something like, the way a grass will blow in the wind and it will just take on the direction. We need to be like that. It's fast moving. It's about freedom. It's about adventure. So be open to new adventures. Be flexible, and allowing change to happen. Notice where we might be stuck in our familiarity. And a lot of times when change comes, it seems like a disaster because, it's different. But be open, breathe, notice what this change is, and always ask yourself and be curious about. I like to say, I wonder how this is going to benefit me. I've done that in some fairly tricky situations where I thought my initial reaction would have been to, "Oh, the hell am I going to get out of this?" Like when my camper broke down in the Vosges Mountains when I was camping on my own on a solo trip about 10 or 12, 14 years ago, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have anybody around me. I was on my own, but I just breathed into it and asked, how is this going to benefit me? And honestly, that whole thing changed everything. It was like my best friend that what looked like was a disaster. So look at whatever is going to happen or turn up with that in mind, so that you can just be curious and breathe. Remember to breathe. It's fives are about exploration, seeking out something new, being open to the new. And look at where you can bring that positivity to anything that's new. Just choosing your thoughts. We can't choose what happens around us, but we can choose the way we feel and our thoughts around those. And it's going to be really important now, and it always is important, to choose your thoughts. And you'll know your thoughts, you'll know what you're thinking by what you're feeling. Our feelings are, it's almost like our emotional guidance system as to what we're thinking. So if you're feeling negative in any way, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frightened, anxious, any of the lower vibrational emotions will feel uncomfortable in your body. If you're feeling that, breathe. Just breathe deeply into your solar plexus, into the just top of your ribs a few times, and just be curious. What am I thinking? What have I been thinking? And you'll get that feeling. When I put people into hypnosis, I ask them to look up as high as they can, and it's about it when you look up, um, just for a few moments. When you look up, and you'll also see this in, cartoons, for somebody thinking they're looking up. When you physically look up, you're actually dropping into or accessing all of the information in your subconscious mind. So, but just by being curious and looking up, and then letting go of getting answers immediately, and going on with what you're doing, just being curious about how you're feeling, and notice that feeling. And when you get the emotions or the feelings or the knowingness of, this is why I'm feeling bad, or I heard this on some, I don't know, I don't listen to the TV or the radio. It's a no in my home. But whatever, might be other people, something that you've heard on, or social media or anything that may start to feel uncomfortable. And then you'll notice that. And then you can ask yourself some questions like, is this true? Can I absolutely know it's true? How do I feel when I think these thoughts? And what do I feel without them? That's the work of Byron Katie, who I love. 4 questions for everything. Is it true? Can I absolutely know it's true? And it may be true, but how do you feel then when you think this thought? And how do you feel when you don't think it? And then you drop out of that. So that is some suggestions about what's happening. Now, also we've got the sun and the moon, so are opposite each other, and they, on the wheel of the sky, they are forming a T-square to Neptune. So that now T-squares are really action. So we've got an opposition with the sun and the moon, and both of those are forming a T-square to Neptune. And um, that will really, it's sort of action stations. It can sometimes, if you're not willing to take inspired action on somewhere that you need to go, or that your higher self is bringing you towards, well, then you get a kick in the ass. You will actually feel uncomfortable, or if you are blocking something coming in, you will feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in a bad way, maybe, but again, just notice. So Neptune is really sensitive. It is intuitive. It's wise. It's a watery sign. Its inspiration will be really heightened. And this is while it might feel like it's a T square, and it's a kind of can be triggering, but it's also asking you to stop, to breathe, and to allow your higher mind access, new wisdom, what is coming in for you. Let me see, what else have I got to say? Yeah, ways to work with that is to really tune into yourself, tune into your heart, stop what you're doing, several times on Tuesday, and just notice what you're thinking, and notice, can you think a better thought? Then notice, ask yourself, because you'll be very open to intuition and inspiration, allow that to flow in. It's a brilliant day to work on something creative. When you access your own creativity, whatever that is for you. For me, I like to paint. For others, it might be to play, or to listen, or to do some music, or to bake, or to create, or construct something. It can be anything. We're all creative in some way. When you get into that flow of your creativity, and you just play, and you are open to inspiration and intuition, it will really, you will notice some really powerful kind of, um, you'll be able to create something really amazing, actually. And it also allows you to transmute that fast moving 5 energy. It also is a brilliant day for, going for walks in nature, listening to the sound of nature, grounding yourself. Take off your shoes, be near trees, touch a tree, hug a tree, sit by a tree, um, put your feet on the ground, walk by the beach, feet in the water. A great day for having a massage or hands-on sort of physical therapy, and just go within. Now, if you have a busy day on Tuesday, that may not be appropriate to do all of those things, but do something. Spend 20 minutes, half an hour on yourself if you can't. And if you're busy, spend an hour, because when we are busy, we need to be able to process things better. When you meditate and you slow down your thinking for a short period of time, you are so much more productive, and the energy will be very productive. Um, Let me see, stay grounded. Yeah, I've said that. Pay attention, of course, to what's coming in, because you will have all of that intuitive insights. Now, there's a very fortunate aspect as well, because the sun is sextile to Saturn and the moon is trine to it. So on that, they're both very sort of what's the word? I'm losing my vocabulary. Supportive angles in astrology. So a trine is a 60-degree angle. No, and 120 is it? And sextile is 20. A 60-degree angle from. So it means because the sun and moon are opposite, there's this beautiful trine and sextile to Saturn, which will really up your ability to manifest, by the way, because Saturn is the planet of responsibility. It gets us to take action, to do the things that we know that we've been procrastinating on, or the things that we know we need to do. Make those phone calls, take that action, focus our attention on what it is that we want to do. Working on your goals, committing to taking whatever action or inspired action steps that you get on that really intuitive day. Mars and Chiron are exactly conjunct, and in Mars's home sign of Aries. So Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, it's very much about new beginnings. Mars is that passionate action-taking planet, can be a bit aggressive now. So um, watch, because we can use these transits and these energies coming in a good way, or we can use it against, nature. Always look, when you breathe and you focus and you drop into yourself, you'll be able to use that energy for action. Mars gives there's courage. So Chiron is the healer, it's the brilliant healer, and Mars and Chiron conjunct will have that. You'll have the ability to take your action steps, but accomplish a huge amount. You can accomplish anything. When you really trust, get in tune with your inner wisdom, you'll have that knowingness that you can do anything, that you can really create something. It's the sacred warrior energy, which also is that number 23. The sun and the moon are 23. It's that royal star of the lion. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful full moon, and a lot of full moons can have an awful lot of difficult angles, but there's a lot of sextiles and trines and conjunctions, which are magical. Mercury is trining Pluto, and Mercury is the co-ruler of this new moon, because Mercury rules Gemini, where the sun is. The sun is in Gemini. So this is going to infuse everything with energy, and the energy that you can really make a big transformation in your own life. I often read that card, and I always say this: be the leading lady or the leading man in your own life. What did you come here to be, to do? Just ask yourself that. Ask your highest self that. What am I here for? Um, I had a lovely reading with a one-to-one client yesterday, and the cards were just amazing. But one of the things that kept coming out, and I remember that I'd heard from years ago when I first started opening up my intuition, and at my very, very first card reading that I ever went to for somebody else, and she looked at my hand and she looked at me and she said, "You can do this. Why are you not doing this?" But she told me, because I was just new to it and was really just opening up to my intuition, she said to light 3 candles, to have 3 stones near me, a rose quartz, a clear quartz, and an amethyst, which I did, light them, and just sort of get in touch with my highest self and just make the statement, I am ready for what I am becoming, to just be open to getting wisdom. I'm ready for what I am becoming. We're all here to do something. We're all here, there's no mistakes, no mistakes in the universe. So we're here for a purpose. And while our lives might feel difficult, in fact, the people that have the most difficult starts and difficult obstacles in life, I believe we've chosen that. And if you look at your birth chart, if you go to any major astrologer, any of their websites, you'll be able to download your own birth chart and get real insights into it. It's like I follow Pam Gregory, and I follow Tanya Gabrielle, and I follow Astrolada, who's also really brilliant. And I've there are others as well, but when you look at your birth chart and you do a little bit more digging on what that means, you'll be able to realize, like, mine is full of oppositions and difficult angles. I came here to just, I don't know, break waves, kind of, but you'll also be able to see different things that are coming up, where I've gone off topic about that now completely. But it's I find it really interesting. Pam Gregory has a book that I've just bought. I haven't read yet. And I think it's called something like, you don't actually believe you don't believe in astrology, do you? Or something, that is the subline. And she feels that it's like saying to somebody, you don't believe in French, do you? Because it's just a way of reading, but we can read everything and really get to understand where you are in life and what you're doing. I highly recommend anybody to just do that, and you'll get kind of insights then on every transit, full moon, and things that are happening. So anyway, this Mercury trying to Pluto is really going to infuse you with the energy to transform. Pluto is about transformation. Pluto is really not afraid to look deep. Pluto is a truth seeker. Pluto unearths secrets and dark side of things. And I know that is my nature. I do not believe anything that I'm told. I believe what I feel, and I feel truth. When I feel tingles, the hair standing on my head when I think of something, when I get a knowingness, I trust my own intuition, my own wisdom. I think we're moving into that time. Pluto is at the very last degrees of Capricorn and will be until December 2024. And Capricorn is about that top-down structure, big corporations, big kind of control groups, and the minions, us being the minions down below. That is collapsing. It is going to. You can see it collapsing every day, but when and exactly, and maybe I believe by 2024, all of this, the world is going to be in a completely different place. And it's going to be much more about people coming together in connection. But right now, we've got that, with this full moon, we're going to have that ability to, really transform our own lives. And that's all we're here to do, transforming ourselves, working that with the people around us. We don't have to transform the whole world, but by working on yourself, transforming, it has a ripple effect on the people around you, and that affects the world. So that's really powerful. Mercury is also sextile Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius. So that's another really optimistic aspect to the full moon. And Mercury is about the way we communicate, but sextiling, which is a nice angle to Jupiter, which is really bringing expansive and exciting energy. You may feel or expect to feel enthusiastic, being able to express yourself really well because of the Mercury aspect, with joy, and do something with this energy. Don't miss the opportunity. So I would reckon over the weekend, have a look at how you're feeling, what you can do, where your dreams are, where you're working towards. And if you haven't set your intentions yet from the last new moon, which was about 10 days ago now, um, go back and listen to the meditation that I made on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're listening now, you will find it. And it would have been on the 30th, I think, of May. That would have been the new moon meditation that I did. You can still set your intentions because the moon is still growing. And in fact, at this stage, there's a much more powerful energy. So if you haven't done it, listen again. If you have done it, I'm going to do it later. Get back in tune with what you want to do, because that meditation really allowed you to get excited about where you're going, seeing that place that you were going to go, and just get excited for what's to come. So do that if you haven't, or even if you have. And on Monday, I will be doing a meditation for releasing and also amplifying that attention to where we are. Okay, I'm just going to see here now Hi Tina, I see you. And I can see there are a few other people as well watching live, but I can't see your names where I am unless you give Facebook access. Anyway, I'm going to read a few cards on that. I've started reading tarot, and now this is what I read when I'm doing tarot on a Zoom or on a live, because I feel more confident with these. So I'm going to read a few for just the energy of this weekend and coming up, and to see if there's anything else that we need to know moving forward. So I'm just getting in touch with my heart, and I'm connected to source of all things, as are all of you who are going to listen, wherever you are, whenever you're going to listen. And I'm just connecting to the energy of what people need to hear most for this weekend, and moving up to the full moon in Sagittarius in love and light. I'm just going to see. Now I'm feeling that my pack is breaking in 3 here, so I'm going to take like this. Okay, so there's 3. So this first card can be read as previous to now, or just past or coming up to this moment. And it's the Page of Water. Now, water is all about our emotions. It's the sign of water. I'm trying to think of what the water. It's cups in tarot, in the main tarot decks. But the Page of Water is intuitive, it's sensitive, it's artistic, it's friendly, and this is very much that energy actually coming up to the full moon. Now, this may be talking about what we need to do coming up to the full moon to get in touch with that side of yourself, but it can also be about somebody new, somebody young coming into your life. A new person enters your life. It might be a new relationship at the beginning of something new, or even a new phase in your relationship. And it's all about our intuition, our heightened abilities, which I spoke about, which is coming in with that energy. So just be aware of that. It may be somebody new in your life, it may be love life, but it may be also a new phase, just something new, and it can be coming up to this moment. It's the first card that I've chosen. The second one is the Six of Air, and now air would be swords in tarot. So the air signs are about our thoughts and our ideas, and this is it's a very positive card. It's all about things are looking up, and they're looking up fast, and it can be the end of a difficult old situation. It can mean and in fact my zodiac kind of stars for this month are very much about travel and communications and partying and lots of stuff on. And I'm so busy with personal things over the next short while, but I'm not traveling yet. So I'm just wondering where that's going to take me. But this is sort of where whatever you're feeling, know that we're moving out of an old difficult situation. There's good things happening on the horizon. You might be wanting to take a trip, but you might also want to take a new trip in your mind, or a new idea that might be a new start for you. It's something new that's kind of coming, and it can come by your attention to it. This is thoughts and ideas. So where are your thoughts taking you? Don't get stuck, I suppose, in the past, in what's gone before. We need to let go of the past and focus on the future. But things are really looking up. So that's just that card. These are Doreen Virtue and somebody else's Angel Tarot, and this was the first card, Page of Water. Um, and this is the Chariot, and it's a major arcana. And now the Chariot, it can feel like that you're going in two different directions, which actually can feel a bit like this energy of Tuesday coming up with that number 5, and that kind of ability to keep changing. We need to be adaptable to change, but also we need to stay focused. And you can make a lot of advancement. You can go forward fast. And again, these are very relevant to this moon. Um, so if you can imagine that where we are and where we've been, we've been through a really difficult situation, but that's behind us, where we now see that light at the end of the tunnel, and you can get there faster by feeling the future, by bringing your heart up into love or above, getting excited about love, getting excited about where you are. And then it's also discipline and willpower, which also it brings in that kind of Saturn, the Saturn, moon trine and sextile to the sun and moon, which is really going to help us move forward. And it can bring public recognition, or sort of a lot of you can do a lot, get a lot of headway. If you are working in media, you can get seen, you can get, not media, but if you're doing, reaching out to people, it can make a big difference on other people's lives. It can happen really quickly. Change can happen really quickly. So if you can imagine that you're in this chariot, and that you are moving towards the light at the end of the tunnel, and the horses may be trying to look at the sides of the tunnels going both ways, but you are now in control. You need to bring your focus back on moving forward, and bring the bad boys on carrying your chariot straight ahead. Just stop looking at the past, at what if, what might happen, any negative, and just move towards what you want. Beautiful reading. Um, okay. If you're watching this in Facebook, please hop over to YouTube and just like and subscribe there, just in case, because I'm not sure how long. I'm happy enough there at the moment in Facebook, but I'd love to build my subscribers, people that are being notified. There's a little bell button as well on YouTube, just so that I can, be more adaptable with platforms. I am creating something. It's still in the dream phase. And if I would love any comments, because I know some of you have worked with me in a membership site that Change Makers before, which I had to close for health and mental reasons when was it? Last July. And I'm looking at something similar but different. So I would love some feedback about what people want or need or would like. And it will be very low end costing, but it will have to be that I won't be as in there answering, lots of stuff. But I'd love to know what people need and want and would like. And I will be back here on Monday. I will post when I realize the time, I'm thinking it'll be Monday morning. Um, Probably Monday morning, sort of my time, 11ish maybe, to do that releasing ceremony. And you can do it then, you can do it that night, you can do it the next day. Just do it, because it's really powerful when you start working with that, um, you know, the energy of the full moon, because the moon is all about our emotions. And when you use the full moon, as the moon is growing, to build those emotions towards the height where we're going now. And then after it, instead of feeling overwhelmed and drained and tired, you can actually let go, let go, as you move towards the new moon. So love you all, and thanks for listening. Hi Linda, lovely to see you. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.